Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I feel like a lot of people need because the episode representation gave us a lot of information on the history of the Agrestes, the Graham de Vanillis, the Fathoms even, and I think a lot of people didn't really understand that episode just because of the way it was presented. So in today's video, I'm going to be explaining it a little bit more straightforward, but please note that this video will contain spoilers for Miraculous Season 5, specifically for Evolution, Revelation, Passion, and Representation. So if you haven't yet seen those episodes, I recommend you go check them out before watching this video. Also, some information in this video comes from the Miraculous Show Bible, so certain things might be changed in future seasons. Our story begins with two people, Mr. and Mrs. Graham de Vanilli. Although we don't actually know their real names, we do know that they live in London and that they are aristocrats. An aristocrat is a member of an aristocracy or a noble. They are usually members of the ruling class and are very wealthy, powerful, and privileged. We can assume that Mr. and Mrs. Graham de Vanilli have royal titles because their daughter Amelie is a lady. Anyways, to continue their royal bloodline, the couple wanted an heir. Instead of just one child, they had identical twin girls, ladies Amelie and Emily Graham de Vanilli. However, because Emily was 7 seconds older, her parents entrusted her as the heiress and gave her the Graham de Vanilli family heirlooms, 2 silver rings that are nicknamed the Graham de Vanilli twin rings. Although Emily and Amelie look exactly the same, they had very different and contrasting personalities. Emily was described as being more curious, free-spirited, and adventurous, while Amelie was more obedient, quiet, and responsible. Additionally, Emily Graham de Vanilli hated her royal ties and disliked the responsibilities that came along with her titles. Emily's rebellious nature did not go unnoticed by her parents. In fact, they worried that they had entrusted the fate of the kingdom to the wrong daughter. However, Mrs. Graham de Vanilli believed that Emily would eventually behave, which is why they let Emily study abroad in France. While pursuing her own education in Paris, Emily Graham de Vanilli met Gabby Grisette, who was an aspiring fashion designer whose family owned a small fast food chain. Emily and Gabby quickly fell in love, and at some point they got married. Emily started her acting career and famously starred as the lead in a short film titled Solitude. Through her role in this film and Gabby designing the costumes, the couple met Anaximandre Bourgeois, who directed the film. Solitude was one of Anaximandre's passion projects, and was created to show his love for Audrey, who would eventually become his wife. Anaximandre married Audrey, gave up his love for film, and eventually changed his name to Andre. Because of their mutual friend, Audrey Bourgeois, a very successful businesswoman and the owner of a famous fashion magazine, met Gabby Grisette and gave him the opportunity to grow in the fashion community. However, at the same time, Emily's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Graham de Vanilli, discovered that Emily was seeing Gabby, and were furious at her for loving someone of his background. Ignoring her parents' wishes, Emily gave up her royal titles and decided to live a humble life with Gabby instead. Once Emily was happily married to the love of her life, and both of their careers were blossoming, they decided that the only thing that would make them happier would be to have a child of their own. However, after years passed by with no luck, they discovered that Emily was unable to have children naturally. This revelation led Gabby and Emily to eventually reconnect with Mr. and Mrs. Graham de Vanilli in order to receive expensive alternatives that might allow them to have a child. Most likely during this time, Gabby Grisette changed his name to Gabriel Agreste in order to leave his humble past behind. At the same time Emily left for Paris and got married to Gabriel, her twin sister Amelie also got married, except it wasn't out of love. In order to please her parents and combine their assets, Amelie Graham de Vanilli had an arranged marriage with American billionaire Colt Fathom. Colt was cold and distant, and Amelie's marriage was far from happy. Like Emily and Gabriel, they also wanted a child, or at least Colt wanted a child. Like her sister, Amelie could not fall pregnant after years of trying. She also went to her parents to try all sorts of treatments in an attempt to have a child. Eventually, most likely through his growing success as a fashion designer, Gabriel met Tomoe Tsurugi. Through this partnership, Tomoe introduced Gabriel to Natalie, an archaeologist who specialized in hunting important artifacts. Because of her knowledge of magical artifacts, Natalie most likely introduced the Agrestes to the concept of the Peacock Miraculous, and the three of them traveled to Tibet. Eventually, Emily, Gabriel, and Natalie found the two Miraculouses and Emily used the Peacock Miraculous and her love to create Adrian. At some point, whether it was before or after Adrian's creation, someone used the Miraculous to create Kagami. Now that Emily was expecting a child, she felt badly for her sister who didn't have the same luck. Emily asked Gabriel to give her sister the Miraculous so that she too could have a child. Gabriel gave the Miraculous to Colt Fathom, who used the emotion of jealousy to create Felix. Shortly after the Senti cousins were born, both Colt and Emily began to fall ill because of the negative effects of using the broken Peacock Miraculous. While Emily continued to love and support her son unconditionally, Colt blamed his son for his illness and began to see him as a monster. Eventually, as Colt became weaker and weaker, his abuse continued, and when Felix was around 11 to 13 years old, Colt nearly killed him. Felix discovered the connection between his father's ring and his own life, and eventually realized his own origin as a Senti. However, after Colt died, Felix was able to retrieve his amok and be free from his father's control. Over in Paris, Emily's health slowly deteriorated as the effects of the broken Miraculous settled in. She recorded videos addressed to both Gabriel and Natalie and instructed them on what to do after she eventually passed away. Through these videos, we know that Emily did not want the wish to happen and that she only wanted Adrian to be happy. When Adrian was around 13 years old, Emily fell into a magical coma and was transported to Gabriel's creepy basement, where she would stay until he could bring her back. Gabriel couldn't live without his wife, so instead of being a normal person and grieving with his son, he decided to use the other Miraculous, the Butterfly Miraculous, that they had found in Tibet to become a supervillain. And thus, our story starts. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the time and effort that I put into compiling all of this information. I spent an unhealthy amount of time on the Miraculous Wiki. I also want to say thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. It is so crazy that my channel was able to grow in that short amount of time. I honestly did not think that something like that could happen, especially because I created my channel at the beginning of summer. I love you guys so much. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you thought of this video, maybe something that I missed, or something that you wanted to just input. Have a miraculous day, you guys. Bye!